Hello everybody, and just here, and welcome back to Spice and Wolf, episode 17, right? Yeah, episode 17, in which, hopefully we will see a resolution to the conflict between Lawrence and Holo, because yeah, I'm probably the most interested in them solving it. Like everything else, like forget Pyrite, forget Yoitsu, forget the fucking Amarty. I just need to see them make up. That's all I'm interested in right now. Right, what happened in the previous episode? Well, it started with us being shown what the whole hubbub is about. Why did Lawrence bolt out of the inn room, and why Holo wasn't particularly scared of that and even a little bit amused. And that is because, thanks to her story of being indebted to Lawrence and traveling with him to pay off that debt, Amarty got it in his head that he will just pay that debt off. And he proposed, 1,000 something. Was it Trenny coins? I think it was Trenny coins. Trenny coins are kind of ubiquitous in this world, so probably that. Yeah, he proposed 1,000 coins to be paid to Lawrence to free Holo from her debt, and what she decides to do after that, well, that will be up to her. So, I mean, good on Amarty to not to at least, give Holo that sort of a choice instead of being like, oh, well, I give the 1,000 coins, I free her, so of course she will be mine. No, he's gonna free her because he wants to do that, and whatever she decides, she decides. Problem is, her decision making might be a little bit impaired for the moment. So she might make very unusual decisions quite unlike her, I fear, and there can be all sorts of outcomes, right? Then after the whole thing, we got some nice time spent between Lawrence and Holo. They had some fun during the festival, right? Some light teasing between them as usual, which will kind of come and bite them in the ass later. And yeah, in general, they spent some nice time. Then Lawrence learned of the pyrite trade, how much pyrite jumped in price just over the time that they were in the city, let alone, over time in general. So he might be wanting to get onto that hype train, assuming he can procure some pyrite for decently cheap. Maybe the alchemist girl, forgot her name. Maybe she can synthesize some, right? Maybe, who knows? And then Holo and Lawrence were at an inn. A message came to Lawrence, a letter from the alchemist about Yoitsu. But he no, that happened before, because he got the letter, but he had to go meet up with someone. I think it might have been Mark. No, wait. What's his face? Yeah, Mark. Yeah, I think that might be when he went to meet with Mark. Left the letter behind without reading it, believing that Holo was truthful, saying that she cannot read. Alas, she can, and she now knows the truth about Yoitsu, and she very much does not like the fact that Lawrence hid it from her. And he really did not help his case by saying, "Oh, I was waiting for a good moment to tell you." That never works well. That never fucking works, because there's never a good moment to share the bad news. Never. Right? If that someone is happy in the moment, do you tell them then? I mean, yeah, on one hand, that would bring their happiness from this to low, so they might be still fine with it, but do you really want to destroy their happiness? No, not really. If that someone is sad about something, well, do you tell them then? Because, I mean, they're sad anyway, might be a little bit more sad. no, I don't want to put any more burden on them, right? There is never a good moment, and it's just an excuse, really. And a whole entire argument rose from it. Holo very much doubting Lawrence's intentions, right? Why does he really want her with him? Is she just, amusement? Is she just this poor little sheep that he wants to protect? Or who is she to him? First she asked, who are you to me? But she probably knows by now. So the biggest question is, who is Holo to Lawrence? And he was, of course, unable to answer that question because, he was put on the fucking spot. Nobody would be able to answer it just, right from the get-go. Holo was, of course, behaving irrationally. And in the first place, you can't really argue with any irrational person. So whatever Lawrence would have said would still be spun around into something bad, right? If he said, well, I want you to be with me, Holo, she would say, you're lying. If he said, well, you're not being yourself, I'm gonna walk out and wait for you to come down, so you're leaving me right now, right? Like, anything he would have said would be wrong. During that time, Holo proposed a solution, so to speak. A solution that Lawrence puts a baby in her, and that way she will no longer be alone, because she's gonna have a baby. Having a child very rarely saves a relationship. I would even hazard a guess that it never does. I would even hazard a guess that it makes the relationship worse in many regards. So probably not the solution that she thinks it is. And then something that probably hurt the most, saying that, oh, but there is someone who loves me. Of course, meaning Amarty. I just hope she doesn't do anything stupid. She seems to have gone back to her senses a little at the end of that whole lengthy tirade. So hopefully she realizes what she said and knows that it was in the heat of the moment and doesn't actually, walk up to Amarty saying, hey, put a baby in me. And if she does, then hopefully Amarty has enough, I don't know, enough integrity to not use a woman who's clearly in a very vulnerable spot, right? I can hope for that much. And that's where we end, right? Holo and Lawrence separated, and who the fuck knows how's it gonna go, right? But before we begin, I actually looked something up. That would be there. I told you about in the previous episode that those creatures walking during the festival reminded me of something, and I found out what it was. It was Turoń. Those are examples of Turoń. This is probably like the closest to what we've seen during the festival, right? This thing. Some very old photos, because it's a very old tradition as well. Kolenda, people walking around the village for the most part. During the Christmas period, I believe it's like after Christmas or so, one of them dressed as Turoń and generally being a nuisance to people in the house, and I guess that's where the Turoń ends. Yeah, there's even a Wikipedia page in English, so I'm positively surprised. During Carnival, before Lent begins. Yeah, after Christmas, so I was correct there. Covered with a cloth sheet or sheepskin, holding a wooden pole with the head that smacks its jaws. There is like a string on it or whatever to the rhythm of a song. And the head is also used to drink vodka, eat stuff, and the Turoń is generally a nuisance. Yeah, dancing, neighing like a donkey, playing tricks on women, chases women around the house, provokes and sometimes hits with its jaw. And in general, when the people living in a house have enough of the Turoni, they sing the song and banish the Turoni and give them give the carolers some ransom, which is usually money or some food from the pantry or some alcohol or stuff like that, and then the carolers go to the next house. So yeah, that's exactly what those things during the who the fuck are those people? With those effigies, not effigies, creatures, people dressed up as creatures walking around during the thing, the festival reminded me, because the whatchamacallit, the effigies remind me more of yeah, there it is, I think. A little bit, because it's not... There we go. Wieniec dożynkowy, which is like a harvest festival wreath, or however you translate it. Except those are, of course, you know, not animal shaped, but rather have like plenty of Christian and Catholic symbolism to them, right? Like the fucking Ark of the Covenant or whatever, or the Ark with the cross. Which is infinitely interesting and funny to me, that a pagan tradition of making a wreath of wheat as an offering to the gods of the harvest has been transformed into this with crosses and IHS and questioning it and stuff like that. But yeah, that was an aside. And it wouldn't let me sleep at night if I didn't find Turoń and didn't tell you about it. But now I did. I can sleep soundly at night, provided it's not too hot, because today I slept like 5 hours because the sheer fucking heat woke me up. I had to cool myself down with a fan for like 2 hours, and then I went back to sleep for another 5. It's not fun in the summer. It's really not fun in the summer. Yeah, I think this is it. Maybe a little less saturation. What do you think? Yeah, whatever. It's not gonna get any better. So, with all of that, I think we can just start watching this episode, right? What do I expect from it? Hopefully the drama between Holo and Lawrence will not last for much longer. Hopefully they are prompt at solving it. So far, this show has been pretty good at not dragging the drama too much. So I'm hoping it will be the case here as well. Although this is the first time we have a drama of that magnitude, right? Usually it's Lawrence saying something wrong, then Holo sulking for a moment, Lawrence correcting himself, Holo not quite believing that correction, but appreciating the gesture, and everything is patched between them, usually within the span of like a couple of scenes. This has the potential to be a little bit longer. I just hope not too long. I just hope it doesn't overstay its welcome, because I'm really not a fan of stretching drama particularly much. Also, this time the drama is kind of forgot to mention that kind of a culmination of everything that happened, right? They're ribbing, they're saying something, but haha, I was just kidding, and stuff like that. Really kind of gave them both a sense that everything is alright, because we can joke about me leaving you, and we can joke about you leaving me, but without actually talking in earnest, in seriousness about the prospect of leaving or not leaving or sticking around. None of them actually knows what the other truly feels. Their entire relationship is basically just based on those, on those jokes and ribbings and stuff like that. They did not really sit down and say to each other what's what. So hopefully that's also something that happens, because I really see no way for their relationship, whatever shape it might take, to progress without them actually, being open and serious. That's the biggest part here, and serious about their expectations and their goals and their, I don't know, whatevers. So, I guess with that, we can just start watching this episode, right? Shall we? To do that, you will need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. There we go. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching Spice and Wolf, episode 17 in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, festival continues. Or is it just a recap? I love this festival. I love those effigy battles. This is great. I fucking love the feeling of seeing a culture without actually knowing it is, but being able to figure out that there is a culture and tradition. Very good question that needs answering, yeah. There was even a version of a Turon with an actual skull. I don't know if you noticed when I was scrolling through Google Images, and there are people with like actual... Those are fucking Turons. What can I say? But yeah, I was also about to say that I got a somewhat similar feeling to that, culture without actually being said what it is, tradition without actually being told what it is, from Bye Bye Earth, which is an incredibly alien show. Like, everything in this world is so completely and utterly alien, bordering on incomprehensible, but I can see that it actually makes sense to the people within that world, right? It might not make sense to me that, I don't know, eating plants is a taboo, but I see that it makes sense to the people in the world, Very similar feeling. I can recommend Bye Bye Earth. Some decent animation, some very interesting world building. I think that's the biggest part of it. I rarely ever see a story, a world, really, so completely and utterly alien. And not just because of purple trees. Trees are actually green, but everything else is completely alien. Regardless. Yeah, I mean, you could say that. Hmm? Right. Yeah, you can't exactly get on a running train like that. Well, ain't that a thing to say? Are we shorting the stock? Hmm. You don't want him to be able to pay off the debt, are you? Well, the easiest thing is to flood the market with the product. But that's not happening, not in the span of a single day. Yes, I mean, you have one god with you. She would have figured something out. Maybe. Hmm. Is it, though? Everybody is very certain of the fact that pyrite will continue rising in price. But there surely is a market cap. Romeo and Juliet, hey? Amarti, Amarti, wherefore art thou, Amarti? And an effigy of a wolf. How fitting. Go and talk to her! Oh, are you actually? Who's she talking to? Oh. Oh. Okay. I thought she's talking to his doppelganger, but he was just seeing things, I guess. What up? Oh? Why would it be? Like, she can read but cannot write? Or... Hmm. So she's still trying to help him. Oh. Both signed. Shit. What are you intending to do? Gonna try to pay off Amati? Or... That's not gonna work if that's what you're planning to do. Oh, that's the scene with Amati drinking alone. Yeah, but maybe he needs money immediately. Hmm. What's that supposed to achieve? Nah, but the price is gonna be different. But you get pyrite tomorrow. He's hoping that pyrite will lose price by then? Assuming it will rise, yes. That is a risk, yes. Good question, isn't it? Yeah. Why not give him the pyrite today? Yeah. He is shorting the stock. He is shorting the stock. Did he just plant this idea in Amarty's head? So that Amarty tries to do the same but fails. And vice versa. I mean, yeah. You're a little bit way too honest for a merchant. Oh, so there's like a certain stipulation in that contract? It's been signed, so I assume that amounts to saying yes. Yeah. Riling up successful. Easy to manipulate, aren't you? Very easy to manipulate. I fully believe that Lorenz has him exactly where he wants him. Could the price of wheat maybe have something to do with his plan as well? We already heard that some merchants want to like leave trading wheat in order to trade pyrite instead. Of course. It's just a, tiny little rumor. Oh, the resident tattletale. There is actually a chance for that. Yeah. And what are they gonna buy? The most profitable thing. Exactly. If they figure that pyrite is not profitable but wheat is, yeah, the market will be flooded with pyrite and thus the price will drop. Yep. I mean, it's actually gonna work though. Or it has a chance to work. True. Yeah. You're gonna break even at least. Yep. Amarty fell for the same exact trick. Well, similar trick that Lorenz fell himself. Yeah, because he's very easy to manipulate. You gotta know which string to pull. Mm-hmm. Why would that be too much of a risk? Reputation? He has reputation to lose. He's staying in this city. He's not moving to another one. People are gonna associate him with buying off the pyrite right before the price crashes. So that means he had a hand in that crash using his connections, and that will lower his reputation. Yeah, exactly. Different risks. Yeah, you're supposed to be perceived as stable, right? Selling stable amounts of wheat for stable amounts of money so that people can, trust you. And also, he has the family to think of. Yeah, a traveling merchant can do any sort of a scheme in any sort of a city because they're going to be out in a week. It doesn't matter. Yeah? Reputation takes ages to build, but just a second to destroy. Maybe someone else would be able to do that. Like, Diane's guy, the liaison. Right? Like, he probably also has some connection. Yeah. Giving up is, you know, unproductive. Right. Yeah. The liaison guy. Yeah. And alchemists can synthesize pyrite. Or at least they have a stock of pyrite to use in their alchemy. Exactly. Yeah. So they have no reputation to lose. And that. At least spread the rumor. And the episode is ending already. Shit. I like the happy music that's playing right now. It's really, you know, uplifting my spirits. Things are gonna be good, you know? Yeah, a bit more pep in that step, exactly. I just hope they don't, like, hit us with another thing, like Diane refusing to sell her pyrite or something like that. We'll see. I mean, I know that it's gonna end well, right? Like, there's no way that they're splitting forever, but still. Still hurts seeing both of them hurt, you know? Like basic human, whatchamacallit, empathy, yeah. Goods of intent and negotiation of resolve. Well, what a title, ain't it? Alright, let's watch it again, shall we? Yes, we shall. More of the festival. Yeah, the horse. Is it a horse or a wolf? I think it's a horse. Horse won against the warrior, then the horse lost against some fat person effigy. There is someone who loves me. What am I to you? Right. Traveling merchants, shallow thinking, and town merchants signboard. Right. Traveling merchants, shallow thinking, not thinking of reputation that the town merchant might lose. Basically, that's how I interpret it. And town merchant signboard is the reputation, right? The signboard itself, right? Like Mark's bread or whatever, that carries a meaning. And if that meaning, that value diminishes, well, it's gonna be hard to be a town merchant. You can't stop a horse that's gained momentum. Debatable. More people are wanting to buy than there are sellers, so that is what's driving the price up, right? More demand than supply. But if we increase the supply, then the demand will be met. And if supply overtakes demand, then the prices will drop. Perfect plan, actually. Why exactly does he want to... I mean, I guess the plan is to turn Amati's pyrite worthless so that he cannot get 1,000 coins. I don't think it was Treni, I think it was some other coins. Lumione? Maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, if he's not gonna have the money, he's not gonna be able to pay Hollow's debt, and so she will continue being indebted to Lawrence, and so Amarty will not be able to take her. Is that the thinking here? Maybe. I don't know. I would say that he's risking reputation to a degree, right? He's risking to gain a reputation of, I don't know, someone who carries around a woman who's indebted to him. But he's a traveling merchant. His reputation in this city doesn't really matter, does it? Like, he's gonna be back in this particular city maybe next year if wind blows this direction. If it doesn't, then he might just never come back to this city whatsoever, right? So his reputation in any particular city doesn't really matter much. Amarty has a lot to lose, though, right? He was talking the big talk of being able to give him 1,000 coins, but then, oh shit, Amarty-san cannot get 1,000 coins? Well, something's up, something's wrong. Maybe he's not quite as a big shot as we were all thinking he is, right? Yeah. Some really, really nice manipulation. I just have to pretend to be God, and thus he's essentially pretending to be Hollow, trying to figure out what she would have done in this situation. Yeah, it looks like this isn't the time to be diligently buying wheat, it's the time to be buying pyrite, right? Traveling merchants are gonna be buying whatever is gonna be selling for most. If you tell them, hey, yo, wheat is gonna be rising in price because reasons, they're just gonna abandon their pyrite. They're gonna sell it the moment they can to still earn a little bit of money from that raised value, and then they're gonna go and buy wheat for that money, right? Because wheat is also a little bit more of a certain purchase. You buy pyrite, you go to another city, chances are pyrite is not going to be as valued in that other city, right? Perhaps it's only limited to this area and to this town's sphere of influence. You go somewhere else and pyrite is going to be worthless. Maybe. Entirely possible. Wheat? Everybody needs wheat. Everybody needs bread. Everybody needs beer. You're always going to sell wheat for more profit or less profit, or no profit at all, but you are going to sell it. You are going to liquidate your stock. There's a guarantee that someone will be willing to buy it. Pyrite? Not so much. So they are buying pyrite while they believe they can make a profit in this particular city. But if it turns out that the price of something else is going to be bigger, higher, then, you know, of course they're going to jump onto that. Romeo and Juliet, eh? I really thought that this moment, right? Like this breath, furrowed brow is like, okay, I gotta talk to her, right? Like we separated in anger. It was not good, but you know, let's talk. Emotions took hold of us, but let's talk seriously right now. I thought it's something like that, but apparently not. Apparently they did not talk. This is interesting. Yeah, Blake and it could have been them, but it's not. He was headed up, but was stopped by the innkeep. 200 silver coins in cash. Pyrite worth 300 silver coins. Assets that can be liquidated. Wait, what was it exactly? Division of Amati's assets. It might be me not being a native English speaker rearing its head right now, but I'm not sure what it means, the division of Amati's assets. Does it mean, like, I don't know, a dowry? That, I mean, dowry is from the bride's family to the groom, so not a dowry. But like, division as in, if Holo marries Amati, then this is what Holo will get? Is this what it means? Or is division as in a listing of what Amati possesses right now that Holo, you know, got out of him and left it to Lawrence as a peace offering? Kinda? I'd like to think that's it. I'd like to think that it's Holo's way of both rubbing it in Lawrence's face, saying, here, marriage contract, there is someone who's willing to marry me right here, right now, and what the fuck are you doing, mate? Right? On one hand, it's a bit of a slap in the ass, but on the other way, it's, you know, and here is how you can amend what you did. Here is how you can correct your mistakes, right? I'm gonna help you just this once. Do with it what you will. If you get me back, hey, that's gonna be cool. If you make some money on Amartis, that's gonna be cool. I'm gonna tell you what Amarty has. If you don't, I have an out. I have the marriage contract, so you better do good, Lawrence. You better do fucking good. I think it's something like that. Or, again, at least I'd like to think. I like to think it's not all just rubbing in Lawrence's face, like saying, here is who I'm marrying, and here's how much money he is. Look, he's so much more wealthy than you. I really don't think Holo would be this cruel. I really don't think so. We'll see, of course, though. Amati's handwriting marriage contract, apparently, and already signed, which apparently does not count for marriage? Does it have to be, I don't know, sanctified by the church? Does it have to be confirmed by the city council or something? I don't know. Or is it like preemptively, right? Like, Miss Holo, let's sign this marriage contract right now. I'm gonna free you tomorrow. Then you will be able to do with this contract what you want, right? If you don't want to marry me, destroy it. If you want to marry me, you will be free to do so. So keep it. I'm putting it in your hands. The decision is yours. Maybe it's something like that. Bars that Amati visits. I like this. It's such a subtle little thing. Hey, watch where you're going, and excuse me. Immediately amends his behavior. Maybe I'm looking a little bit too much into it, but I think it might be signifying Lawrence's learning, Lawrence's growth, a little bit, like a tiny little vertical slice, essentially, of him growing. He did bad, he got scolded for it, he is not repeating the same mistake. Right? Maybe. Again, maybe I'm looking too deep into it. Amati sitting alone. Yeah, buying pyrite for credit. Exactly. It's shorting the market, isn't it? Except, like, the opposite way? Kinda? Maybe. Shorting the stock market is essentially you borrow someone's shares, right? You borrow, like, I don't know, $100 worth of Nvidia shares from someone who owns them, right? You hold them. You wait until the price of the shares rises. You sell those shares for $200. You buy shares worth $200. You keep $100 worth of shares, and you give back $100 worth of shares to the one you borrowed them from, right? So you earn, you make money while not spending any money. And the person you borrowed from gets back what they lend you, even with, you know, some bonus, like $150 worth of shares, for example, right? That's shorting the stock market. This is like the opposite, right? Kinda, yeah. Because you're not hoping to create worth, or rather, no, wait. It's like failed shorting. Maybe? Whatever. Doesn't matter. Market manipulation, in any case. Makes sense for, you know, to the potential benefit of Lawrence, right? If the prices drop, Lawrence benefit, Amati loses. If the prices rise, Lawrence loses, Amati benefits, right? That's basically all it is. And it's less of a duel as much as it's a bet, a wager. Yeah, it's essentially a wager. Amati is betting on the price rising. Lawrence is betting on the price dropping. I thought that maybe it's Lawrence planting an idea in Amati's head, right? Especially with this little smile, right? Lawrence plants an idea to do this market manipulation in Amati's head, but Amati doesn't have enough experience to see the possible repercussions of it. He will try to do that. He will be like, you know, I'm not gonna fall for your tricks. I'm gonna use the tricks myself. And then he fails. I thought that might be what's happening here, right? But not quite. It's really just an honest bet, just an honest duel, right? Like, Lawrence is not, I don't know. I mean, he is manipulating Amati. He very much is manipulating him. But it's not like, you know, manipulating him into self-destruction, essentially, but rather manipulating him into taking the bet, with the bet itself being more or less fair, right? I cannot see the extent of this word if I only trade in fish. I mean, yeah, the big agree here. Mercantile duel. Ain't that interesting? I don't wish to accept the deal where I gain from your loss. Oh, you know what? Holo was crying so much. Oh, she's so cute when she cries, you know. I love making her cry. I'm taking the bet. So easy to manipulate. It really shows his... It really shows that ultimately he might be a seasoned merchant, but he's still very much green when it comes to that life experience, so to speak, right? Yeah, Holo has cried in my arms 3 times. She's pretty cute when she cries. Yeah, I accept. Easy. Lawrence has him exactly where he wants him. Wheat harvests have been great everywhere this year, so chances are the price of wheat is not actually growing. Chances are it's actually dropping. So Lawrence is not only going to fuck Amati over, he's going to fuck everybody who's buying wheat over. But, you know, that's some collateral damage that's acceptable in this case. The wheat for beer has to be used for bread instead when the harvests are bad, right? Of course, beer takes precedence. Rumor, right. Apprentice is good at spreading rumors. Yeah, the plan can actually work. It actually can work. Yeah, I really thought that this is another whatchamacallit? Not inversion, not substitution. Another moment where they have us thinking everything's gonna be daijobu, and then they pull a fast one and everything is not gonna be daijobu, right? I thought this is sort of a moment like that, right? Okay, we have a solution, right? Mark is gonna procure some pyrite for us and he's gonna spread the rumors, right? Everything's good. And what? He's not gonna buy pyrite. Well, shit. The entire plan hinged on that, and well, we're kind of fucked right now. I thought it's gonna be a moment like that. But no. No, I mean, Mark himself did deny the request, yes, but he found another way, which, you know, works out. And, yeah, and this moment actually fleshes out the nature of a traveling merchant versus the nature of a towns merchant, right? Traveling merchant is worth as much as their wares. They have a reputation among other merchants. Maybe if they're renowned enough, they might have a reputation in their association. They might have a reputation in a guild, right? Like, oh, Mr. Scrimbler always brings us quality salted meat. This time when he's around, buy all of his meat because it's always of high quality, right? You can build this sort of a reputation, but not with the common folk. Essentially, so if your reputation is destroyed in one city because you scammed people into buying your worthless crap, for example, you just travel to another city and that's it. Easy. Your reputation is clear in that other city. Word doesn't spread that fast, right? When you're a town merchant, though, yeah, you're stuck. You can't clear your faults. You cannot cleanse your reputation by just traveling somewhere else. You're stuck with it. And reputation takes time to build. Reputation takes time to develop. And only seconds to destroy. I'm a town merchant, yeah. It's not virtuous for a town merchant to jump on any great money-making deal. Yes, town merchants are supposed to be stable. right? If the wheat merchant that the local bakery was taking wheat from goes to trade in pyrite because he noticed that it's the big deal right now, well, who's to say that he's not gonna jump in on another bandwagon? Who's to say that if a new species of pear makes it here that couldn't be grown because of the climate, but the new pear can be grown here, who's to say that he's not gonna ditch wheat and start selling pears, right? That bakery is going to be a little bit reluctant, like fully relying on that merchant, basically. But if you establish yourself as trustworthy, right? You always have the exact same wheat. The price is always the market price. They're not selling for too little. You're not selling for too much. The bakery can always count on you having the supply of their like chosen, preferred, selected, I don't know, flour of particular coarseness that they rely on for their flatbreads. They know they can rely on you. That's your reputation. That's your moneymaker. Complete opposite to traveling merchants who are less risk averse because they can cleanse their reputation immediately. If they fail at some trade, well, let's go to another city, try again. It doesn't matter, ultimately. As long as they have money, nothing else matters. For a town merchant, reputation is its own sort of currency. So I can actually see why Mark is reluctant to do so. I can actually see that. And it actually makes sense. It's another thing in this show where I wouldn't have noticed if it didn't happen, right? Like, if Mark agreed to help procure pyrite, I would not spare it a second thought, right? I mean, of course, he's Lawrence's friend, he's gonna spread the rumor, he's gonna purchase some pyrite, of course he's gonna do that, right? They're friends, he stands to gain some money from it, of course he's gonna do that, makes sense. I wouldn't have even thought of his reputation as a town merchant. But they made it a thing that he's a town merchant and he has a reputation to uphold, and I'm like, oh, shit, right, you're absolutely correct, it makes sense. I really like those moments in this show. I really do. Talking to Batos, yeah, and talking to Diane, which makes sense, right? Of course, they're gonna have access to pyrite, both as an alchemical ingredient, and perhaps they can even create pyrite in the process of trying to procure gold. Wasn't that how... No, pyrite is not like lab-grown. Pyrite is naturally occurring mineral. I thought for a moment that maybe pyrite was actually something that they synthesized in the Middle Ages, the alchemists, and they thought, it's gold, hooray, I got the, Philosopher's Stone, I made gold, but it turns out to have been pyrite. No, I think... Again, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's more likely that they would use pyrite as something that is close enough to gold, so that maybe turning it into gold will not be quite as hard, right? Like turning lead to gold. Lead is kind of dissimilar from gold. It's gray and not particularly worthy. But pyrite, well, it's gold, so we're already like halfway there. We only need to change some properties of it, and boom, gold, done. Which again will mean that alchemists will have plenty of it. And also Lawrence is gonna get some information about who would be willing to sell some pyrite of theirs. I really like this positive finale here, right? Lawrence not giving up, thinking of some plan, thinking of how he can make amends a little bit, or rather, not make amends. We're not even in the at the point of making amends. Currently, we're at the point of unfucking the situation, of saving the situation, right? Once Holo is saved from Amati's grasp, she might still be, not perfectly fine, but because Lawrence now, quote unquote, has her and not Amati, Lawrence can now begin to make amends. We're in the first step, not letting go of Holo. And that's the most important one. Then, after we have access to Holo, for the lack of a better term, then we can make amends. I like the, fun music, the pep in Lawrence's step, the smile on his face. It really gives me hope that things are gonna be daijoubu. And I hope they're gonna be daijoubu. And I think they're gonna be daijoubu. I really don't think they would be spreading that whole entire drama for more than 3 episodes. I would say that the worst case scenario, quote unquote, would be that the next episode is the duel, and Amati losing, and Holo going with Lawrence, and then episode 19 is Holo and Lawrence making up. Talking seriously, right? Talking about their grievances, about their hopes, about their goals, etc., 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 and making up. Then episodes 20 to 25, the last 5 episodes, that seems perfect for the final arc. Right? I think it's gonna be something like that. Maybe. We'll see. Right? All of that remains to be seen, of course, but what is certain is... Oh, actually, there's like one more segment to the video. I wanted to end the video here, but there's also this, where I say that I enjoyed this episode very much, and that I probably don't have much more to say, because I think I said everything I wanted to say during the course of the discussion segment. But to reiterate, I'm really glad that it seems like this episode kind of tapered in a very, very positive direction. I was afraid that at any moment here things just could fall apart, right? Like Mark refusing to purchase Pyrite and shit, right? What are we gonna do now? I still have a little bit of that fear that maybe Lawrence's plan is not going to work and the drama will continue. There is that fear somewhere deep within my mind still, but I don't think it's going to be the case. Ultimately, this show is not a negative one, right? The story told here is not a tragedy, it's not a drama, it's just slice of life, for the lack of a better term, in that, just like in life, there are good moments and bad moments, and happy moments and funny moments and somber moments, right? There are all of those, and all of those are represented in this story. We're not heading in the direction of a grand tragedy. We're not heading in the direction of a grand comedy. We're heading in the direction of a life. A slice of their life, quite literally, really, and I like it, and I enjoy it. If more slice of life stories were like this, and not going to the Konbini arc, if you have any more anime like this, like Spice and Wolf, please let me know. Because I really didn't... It's not that I didn't think that I would like this show, as I was a little bit apprehensive because, they're just gonna be traveling and doing some merchant stuff, and I mean, it's probably gonna be cute, it's probably gonna be a fun watch, but is there gonna be, much to talk about? There's no magic, there are no, grand adventures, no great mystery as to who killed the king. Was it the demon lord? Demon lord says it wasn't him. Maybe it was the goddess. Right? There's nothing like that. So I thought that it might be interesting, but not that interesting. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Turns out that a battle between merchants in through the market manipulation of of pyrite stock can be basically as engaging as the main hero having to face another one of demon generals and trying to figure out how to go about it, right? Cool. I know that Witch Hat Atelier is rumored or said to be something similar-ish in like general vibe, and I know it's getting an anime, so I'm gonna be watching that for sure. But if there's anything else, I mean, again, let me know in the comments down below. But right now, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, no, not yet. It's gonna be it from me for today. So you guys, you tell me, what did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories that I didn't really have any today, in the comments below. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Spice and Wolf, but also Shy, Wistoria, QA Isekai, what else is there? Bye Bye Earth, that one's cool. The Osamu Danzai, Isekai, and plenty others coming in the future. I'll also stream sometimes, so click the bell. You're also going to be notified of when the videos go live. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below. On Patreon, for $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Washio and others, and for just $1, you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube, membership, super thanks, super chats, and if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without an Edza, Reina, Yuki Alai, Dr. Ward, Friedrich Jung, Akomancer, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to manipulate the price of pyrite.